Mokwena, and also Mr. Aubrey. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Coach, second leg CAF Champions League semi-final match, all to play for. I'll just over to you just to set the tone for the approach going into this weekend.
Yeah, good afternoon to members of the media. Yeah, only half time, so second half to play against the defending champions, and looking forward to it. And good, the team is ready, and we'll do the best that we can to win the match.
Aubrey, just from you, a tough first leg game. Your thoughts approaching this game at home?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game because these are defending champions, so we're not gonna take them light. I think we're gonna prepare well and accordingly. And yeah, I think for us is to try and win the game, because a draw and if we don't win the game, I think it's gonna impact us in a negative way. So yeah, we just have to apply ourselves and make sure we do well on the day.
Members of the media, over to you. Please identify yourselves in the media house before posing your question.
Please, sir. Can I ask you who will replace Modiba in midfield?
Don't know yet. Don't know yet.
Sure.
No, don't know yet. Still one more training session to go. We trained today. I've got to watch the training, and don't know yet.
Thanks. Coach, it's from ENC.
Sure.
What happened last week in terms of match officiating? Mahmoud is selected for this match. What do you want to say about that? In terms of you want to see a good game from the officials?
Yeah, to have a very good match, you need three very good teams. You need our team, of course, to perform well, and that's 100% the focus. Then you need a strong opposition, and I'm sure, like we saw in the first leg, we saw a very good Wydad side with good players and very good coach. And then, of course, hopefully we get the third team, and that's what you need for these type of competitions, for these type of games, and for good football matches, you need three very good teams.
Because a lot of people say you judge Mamelodi Sundowns on what they do in the CAF Champions League. I mean, you've wrapped up the league a long time ago, and you celebrated during midweek. Should you not make it through this game and get knocked out at this stage, would you then regard this season as a failure?
We've had a super season. Super season. Could be better. Of course, it could be better. But if you look at what we've done and how we've played, the character we've shown, the resilience that we've built, the type of performances that we've already demonstrated away from home, especially in the Champions League, in Cairo, in Algeria when we went, in Casablanca, then of course then you see what I see, and what I see is an incredible group of players, a special group that is doing everything it can to represent this football club every single time, with integrity, with honor, and to give everything of the best. And I'm sure that's what we will continue to do on Saturday.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Coach, I'd like to focus more on Thembazwane because over the last couple of, I think, months, there's a lot of change in regards to him being much more vocal. He stand out for the players, for the bench as well. What has been the shift in mentality? Because he's always been a leader, but a quiet one. But in recent months, he's really been so vocal. Just the change in regards to that, and to Modiba as well, the conversations in around, the training ground from the players' perspective. What are the players saying? I think it's one of the biggest games you've also going to be playing. And just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously, right now, because we wrapped up the league, after winning it, I think we have like 24 hours to celebrate. So right now, we're just gonna shift our focus to the semi-final, second leg, and obviously, we do have those conversations. But I don't think we're going to put ourselves under pressure, because I think we know what we're capable of doing. I think if we can play the way we've been playing, I think we can be able to do well on the day. But yeah, those are the conversations that we always have. And yeah, I think we just have to enjoy the moment and play the way we've been playing.
Thanks.
No, but I think there was a question on. Yeah, sorry. No. It's incredible to see the leadership qualities that have been demonstrated by Thembazwane. He's important for us, but he's just as important as you've seen with Mokwena, you've seen with Ronwen Williams in that capacity. We have a strong change room, a very important change room with very, very influential figures like Kennedy Mwini, like Dennis Onyango, who don't need to be playing to show leadership and try to assist us in managing the change room behind the scenes. And then we've got incredible footballers who so happen to be good human beings, and because of that, it's easy to be a leader, and I'm sure that's the most important thing, even for Mshishi to demonstrate his leadership abilities. He needs a lot of support and he needs a good team around him, and without that you wouldn't be speaking about the leadership qualities or the good leadership qualities that stand out. It's always a reflection of the team that you represent or you stand for, and that's what my answer would be.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Sorry, kids.
My first question is to Aubrey. Aubrey, your Sundowns has gotten so much attention over the world and on the continent with the style of play and the role that you've been playing is such a specialized role so far. How much have you enjoyed the role that you're playing, and how much have you enjoyed your football this past season? And my question to Coach Rulani, there's 270 regulation minutes left for the season. Whatever story there is to tell about your team has already taken shape. What narrative or what theme would you say you could put out there about the story that this team is carrying this season?
Wanna go first?
I can go first.
Yeah, go first.
Personally, I think my season, could have been better, but I've had some like good and bad moments, and obviously the position that I'm playing right now, I think compliments must go to the coaches, everyone, and my teammates as well, because we complement one another. It's not about me. I'm trying by all means to be able to be in the good position so that I can influence the game and help my teammates, to create those chances and create that extra layer as well, and to be able to come back and help my team obviously defensively as well. So I think I'm enjoying the role, and obviously I think I'm familiar with the role because I used to play like a lot of positions. So I think maybe the coach saw something in me that I could be able to do well in that position as well. So I'm enjoying the role and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
The narrative will always be, they say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and sometimes I don't have enough of an eye that tries to find the beauty in how we play, because maybe I'm overly critical, and I've trained my eye to pick up the deficiencies more than the good points, because that's what football is. Football is about, can you get better? Can you be better than you were yesterday? And because that's what football is, football represents what society is. And I am the type of person that is, even though I'm very optimistic in nature, but I'm also overly critical first of myself. And I always start with what could I have done better, what could I have said better, or what could I have improved. And then I'm critical of the team and of the players individually, so that collectively we can improve. If I can improve the individuals, I can try to improve the collective and the way the team plays. So maybe that's what the narrative is that I would like to have this season is an ever improving team, ever improving coach. Of course, not perfect, and I have no expectation to have perfect players or a perfect team or to be the perfect coach. But with a very good mindset, and you can call it the growth mindset if you want, but with a very good mindset, one that looks to stimulate improvement and development, not just in myself, but in others. Hopefully that's what, when we watch the team and how it's grown and it's progressed from match day 1 to match day 30 now, or I don't know how many games we played now this season, I hope what is evident to everybody is how much the team has made progress and has improved every single match.
Coach, I'm coming YFM. Coach, seems as if Mamelodi Sundowns is a theme for playing North African opponents. I mean, you look at Al Ahly, how you've managed to find a way to beat them as well as lose that. But it seems as if like Wydad has been that team that has been troubling Mamelodi Sundowns. But if last week's game is anything to go by, you able to be reduced to 9 men, would you say that you're sort of like trying to figure out a way past them?
Yeah, but we have to figure out a way past every opponent. That's the work that we do. Everybody at the club tries to invest time and hours into assisting the players to make sure that the performances are good against any opponent. The mentality, as I've said even in the past, is that we try to win the day. We try to win every single pass, every single training session, every single rondo, every single small-sided game. And that mentality hopefully is what has carried us to where we are. I'm hoping that that is the mentality that we will demonstrate up until the end of the season, and I have no doubts, because this team has never given me any reason to doubt their credibility, their ability to play football, and to try to win football matches.
It's good.
Coach, I asked this question a few weeks ago when Loftus and mathematically we were champions but not crowned yet, and you gave me my word that you would answer eventually. Let me ask again, how would you sum up the season and how you managed to overcome some of the hurdles, talking about the Jani situation, Sipombula situation, the change of coaching that, ascended you to this position that you're in, to be able to win the league at a canter, to be able to now stand one match away from being in the CAF Champions League final?
Yeah, it's been a very difficult season, maybe more difficult than what is exposed to the general public and the eyes of the people that in a moment make the judgment. I think I've been extremely blessed to have the type of team that I have, because without the players I have no motivation. When I look into the eyes of the players, when I see their body language, when I see how they come to training, when I see their preparedness to listen and to learn, that's what stimulates me and allows me to also get the energy to give more of myself and try to be a better coach every single day. The amount of support I receive from the club, from everybody associated, from senior management board, the chairman, the president of this football club, the technical team is enough for me to be able to continue with my day-to-day operations. And for sure, when the levels are high, the room for error is very, very minimal. I know that, I understand that completely, but I still try to also put into that space of knowing that, number one, I deal with human beings every single day, and because there is that human ability, there's room for error, and I've got to accept and understand that when people make mistakes, it's because they make mistakes genuinely, and sometimes And hopefully most of the time it is because it puts space for them to improve and to learn from the mistakes and to become better. And then of course I also have to put a little bit of space, and even though I am the type of person that is overly critical of himself and maybe too much of my thinking is on trying to be overly perfect in terms of how I do things. A lot of the times I remind myself that I'm only just human. So that's what I would say. The only way I've navigated it is because I've got incredible support, and I've got a fantastic team with players that are prepared to learn, players that are prepared to improve, and players that are prepared to respond to the pressure and to the stress that we give them every single day.
Just as a quick follow-up, what is Granny's future as it stands today? Has that been sorted out? Also, have you been pleased with how Sipho has responded to, I'm guessing, your requirements of him and the team to produce the performance that they did in the first leg?
Yeah, no, I don't know about Andile Jali, to be honest. I don't know what the latest is. The club will respond to that. Sipho Mbule, I'm more than pleased. I'm more than pleased. I've taken it a little bit as my side project. I invest a lot of time, but I guess I invest a lot of time in a lot of my players. I do a lot of work behind the scenes in good performances. Modiba was a little bit unfair on himself when he said he's had some good moments and he's had some bad moments. In the bad moments, he knows that he's got a coach that will identify the bad moments, that will discuss the bad moments, and will try to take the bad moments as arsenal to improve. He's had good moments, and he's correct. And even in the good moments, he knows that he's got a coach, he's got teammates, he's got the technical team that will support him in the good moments. But what he hasn't said is that he's had extraordinary moments. I can count how many times Aubrey Modiba has helped us to not just create chances and has pre-assists, assists, but the biggest thing that Zeda Modiba gives us is that he makes us play better. He makes us play better. We are able to do certain things that we are not able to do when Modiba is on the pitch, and that is an incredible compliment to first his ability to take in information, and then that speaks to his intelligence, and then secondly his God-given abilities, because he's a very, very good footballer.
It's just back post, please.
Thanks, coach. Thanks, Aubrey. My name is Ajay from Sportsbook. I need to understand you played in front of a packed crowd in Casablanca.
Yeah.
How important will it be on Saturday to have a full Loftus?
Very important. I think we've come to a point where, as much as the demands and there's a huge expectation with regards to the performance of the team, I think we've also reached a point where the Sundowns supporters have matured in understanding what is demanded or required of them as the 12th, 13th man for big Champions League games, and they will become very, very important. And I expect nothing less than to hear the drum, to hear them chanting, to see a full stadium that will give us extra energy and a push towards the next round.
So we'll just quickly go ahead.
Thanks.
Sure, it's a
Coach, we were at the funeral service of Alex on
Sure.
Tuesday, and most of the speakers wished that Sundowns can probably win this tournament also for you. Is that an added motivation for the team to try and go all the way?
I don't think at this point of the season we need a lot of motivation. who we are or the work that we've done should be necessary. The ambitions that we harbor and we've worked towards from day one should be enough. But if we were to ever be in short of extra motivation or the need for motivation, of course Uncle Alex would be the fuel and the driving force behind that. And because he was what he was, a gigantic figure, a special figure, and for sure that would of course go towards our favor more than anything.
Against Wydad, admittedly, in the second half down to 10 men, aerially, you guys seem to suffer a little bit, and Lucy did as well, the first goal coming in from the corner. How much extra, have you done extra work on the aerial challenge? Is that the area of concern for you? And sorry, if I can ask Aubrey, the arrival of Masheko, how much of a kick up the proverbial did it give you in terms of motivating you? Because he's such a good player in your position.
No, I'm sure like we all know every player who comes to Sundowns, meaning is quality. They didn't just buy him to add numbers. I think he's a very good footballer, and he's been doing well for Cape Town City as well, and he was playing in the national team. Obviously we push one another, how we all push one another here at Sundowns, because we have like 2 or 3 players in one position, so we try and help one another, push one another. So yeah, we motivate one another. When I see him play, I always try and motivate or cheer for him or help where I can, and he's also doing the same. And there's Fiso Mokwena as well. I think he has done well in some of the games that he played. So yeah, we push one another, and it's a healthy competition and a healthy, good working environment, and it helps us win games and help one another.
The challenge is I don't want to go too much into this question because it's got a lot of detail, but the profile of the teams in the Champions League, the type of football that is played, particularly by the North African teams, is completely different to what we are accustomed to in the domestic competitions, and maybe even from teams from different regions, in particular the SADC region. And so, of course, when you go and you compete against teams that play the type of football that Wydad play, that Al Ahly play, that Belouizdad play, which is predominantly wing play with very aggressive fullbacks who get into the final third and deliver crosses into the box. What you then have is a team that works very, very hard and that is profiled around that recruitment, where one of the strengths becomes the physicality and the aerial prowess that comes with being 1.85, 1.86, and so for sure that poses a different challenge to us than what we normally have in the normal PSL matches. But again, also because of that is how you then deal with, not just in open play, those type of situations, because with percentage football comes the probability of then having situations that are in and around your box a lot more, like corner kicks, free kicks, and those type of situations and long throws that come in and around the box. So if you are exposed more to that, it's the law of averages, if you are exposed more to that, of course, then you have the probabilities of saying, this is highlighted a little bit more to the naked eye. But the root cause is not necessarily a weakness. The root cause is actually the profile of the teams. And the profile of the teams is then directs you to the game that they are dependent on, which is a game that goes with the profile and the strengths. And of course then the recruitment and the type of players that they then bring into their teams. So when you then play like we do, even when we play, for an example, a Golden Arrows, we profile their game model and we profile their strengths and we profile their weaknesses. It becomes very, very, very important that we work on the possibilities where we could be threatened, and then to try to expose the weaknesses that we've also identified. So part to answering your question is to say that it would be only standard that now that we go Wydad, a similar strength, we go now to Wydad, a similar strength, we would then have to increase the work done in and around the strengths and dealing with the strengths than we would in a normal program that only involves playing against teams that have a different type of profile and a different type of playing methodology.
Thank you, Jerome. Coach, I think the question about the supporters was, but I think I want to touch on it in a different light. The story has always been that even your former colleague, Coach Nizo, the goal is there in Pretoria.
Sure.
I think you've also said that the goal is there in Pretoria.
Yeah.
But if the goal doesn't come as quick as you would like it to come, how then is important the relationship between the fans and the players, like for the players to galvanize the fans and the fans to motivate the players? We've seen last year against Pedro, the goal that doesn't come and the crowd dies down, that atmosphere transfers into the field. So how then is that important relationship important between the fans and the players? And Aubrey, the gentleman sitting next to you never wants to speak about himself. He always says the game belongs to the players, and we agree with him. But with the great work that he's done, improving players, improving the club, his insane ideas, please tell us about your coach and how it is working with him.
Yeah, no. I think working with Coach Rulani, I think it personally impacted my life in a positive way, because some of the things that he does, I transfer them into my life beside football, because the way he works, the way he's demanding, the way he wants things to be done. So I think one thing, workaholic, I always say, doesn't sleep. So yeah, it's exciting, and it's something that and we learn new things every day, because sometimes he comes and he introduces a new thing and you'll be like, okay, then he tries and explains, and you can see like it works in the game, and there's always a purpose in something that he does. So I think it shows mostly in games, because he watches a lot of football. And I think I've learned to watch a lot of football as well. So like I said, the way he works, he motivates, us. And you can see how everyone is improved, especially in the team. A lot of people have improved the way, from their previous teams, the way we play, the style of play. And yeah, I think I can write a book about him, the things that he does. So yeah, it's I think like I said, even my life has changed, the way I work, the way I try to plan my things accordingly, and thanks to him.
The relationship with the fans.
The relationship with the fans.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Yeah, very important. I think over the last couple of home games, we felt the 12th, 13th man. We felt it. In good moments, they've been there. In not so good moments, they've shown us love and appreciation. And I think there's no doubt in my mind at this moment that we can trust them to be able to do the same thing on Saturday, and for 96 minutes plus. We do what we do for them. We sacrifice a lot. We try to always make our supporters happy with our performances, because there is that demand and that expectation that we play well. Am I expecting us to score an early goal? Probably how we've gone about playing the last few games. For sure, I think we have a goal in us in the first 10 minutes. Do I see it coming very, very early? I'm not so sure. But the message that I will definitely carry to the team is patience. Patience, 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 because we trust ourselves to be able to unlock, and we were able to score. We were just unfortunate, of course, in that situation with the offside for Peter's goal. 50 seconds before we even scored, we replicated a similar situation. We were unfortunate because we missed one detail, one small detail, and that could have been a goal. And that was only 50 seconds, same picture. And then, of course, because the game changes after we go one man down, the profile of the team has to change. We have to adapt to different things. The message to the players has to be slightly different. Fortunately, it happens just before half time, and then we have time to absorb the information that the last 5, 6, 7 minutes gave us. And because we could do that just before the break, we are then able to change the profile of the team. The players respond very, very well because the information is completely different, and the structure of the team is completely different. But the flexibility and the ability of the team to take on a different personality was incredible. And still with that, we had a lot of control. We had less possession than we had in the first 30, but we looked comfortable in a very difficult environment, very hostile. And if we did not have one or two situations where we also missed an extra detail, and funny enough, it was a detail that I spoke about to the team, which Man City had become so good at, especially in the Champions League, and in the first leg against Real Madrid, it was so evident. And then if we could have had one or two of those situations and better, we could have maybe scored even in Casablanca. So there is that trust that the goal will come, but we have to be very, very patient. And that patience is not just for the team and the players on the pitch, it's also got to be for the crowd and the supporters. They've got to be patient and know that this team has got goals, and this team has the right mental fortitude to be able to overcome any of the football challenges that we might face on Saturday.
Coach Vincent from SABC.
Sure.
I just want to pick up on Sepo's question about officiating. Obviously, VAR has been introduced to mitigate the referee's mistakes and to assist. And obviously, in the past 2 seasons, we've seen VAR used to deliberate key decisions. If you go back to a match against Petro last season, no man was supposed to go. It was disallowed. And then just last weekend, there was an incident where Simon seems to have been elbowed, but it was not even referred to VAR. In your opinion, do you think the technology has been used effectively to your satisfaction? And just before you answer, Aubrey, you are one of the few players who got a chance to play in the Continental Final for the second time, because you did it with SuperSport TP Mazembe. How would that make you feel if you do it in Sundowns, in the Champions League, possibly win it?
Actually, I was thinking about that the other day when I was going home. Because I didn't like the feeling of losing in the final. That's not a nice feeling, and obviously, but we have a big encounter on the weekend. We need to start with this one that's coming, and hopefully, I can think more about it if when we win the game, or if we win the game. So yeah, it would be a great thing because it's not easy playing in Africa. It's never easy. We always have come up with so many things that make you grow. I think that it will be a great thing, and but we need to first start with the one on the weekend, and hopefully it can happen again.
Sorry. There are 2 points with regards to VAR for me, which are important to highlight. The first is like with any other new way of doing something, there are going to be teething problems and mistakes. They come only because you are adapting to using something new. And of course we have to accept that VAR is something new. And because we are trying to find something new and the best way of it working, we are improving our capacity, the resources needed for it to be used to the best of its capacity also. So we have to put that in our minds. So mistakes might be not just because the person deliberately makes mistakes, but it might be because we are 1 or 2 camera angles short of being able to say this is exactly the decision that VAR should be supporting. And that's a probability, and it's probably even higher in Africa than it is in Europe. And so the margin of error becomes widened. And then, because behind the VAR camera and technology is a human being, and because you've got human beings, the gap for a mistake in that call becomes even wider. So those are the 2 things that I think we need to highlight when we speak about VAR, and not go too much into that space, because mistakes are going to happen, and mistakes should not always be viewed as deliberate or mistakes that are done by purpose. There's a huge probability that 1, it could be because of adapting to the use of it, and 2, because there is human error, and when there's that space, you have to also, like all of us, we all make mistakes. That's why even when you are in school, there's a pencil, and then there's an eraser. The eraser is there to make up for the mistake, and no one starts already writing in pen. You start with a pencil, because everybody understands that you could go beyond the line or over the line, or you could write or misspell the word. And then when you've reached a level where you can graduate to using the pen, there's still Tipex. Because you can still make a mistake. And even though you are very good at this thing of writing, there's still Tipex. Okay, now let's go into a level where most of us have graduated to be able to use the latest technology with typing and all of these things. There's still on the keyboard there's backspace. So before you press enter and send, you're able to proofread. And because there's human error, before you even publish, and I go into your space, before you even publish, it goes to the editor to proofread. So you type it, you use backspace, and you do that. And by the way, what technology has also done is also giving you autocorrect. So now the computer tries to double check your work, and even after the computer is double checked, because it was written by a human being, it still goes to the editor to triple check and triple check. It's like everything in life. Mistakes happen.
The editor there next to you is agreeing. So please make your question for us.
And how many times have you seen mistakes even though the editor has read it?
That's great. My question is for Aubrey. Aubrey, I just want to follow up on Ken's question earlier on. That given the complex or unusual way that you operate on the field, I've seen a normal fan or supporter sometimes don't understand the role, and there has been some level of criticism which I feel is a little unfair at times. Did you pay too much attention to that criticism of the way you're being asked to operate on the field? And to the coach, I see there's been I think Sundowns players have nominated almost every category for the player or for the players of the season.
Oh.
And you as the coach of the season.
I haven't seen it.
Are you expecting a clean sweep when the awards are hosted?
We're just grateful to be nominated, and I think I speak for the club in its entirety, because individual nominations are only just a reflection of the work that everybody does. So I think we are just grateful to be nominated, and want to thank everybody for the support and for the probabilities of allowing us to be on that nominations list.
To answer your question, the coach always says you must trust the process. When we started, I remember pre-season in Rustenburg, the coach, he told us, this is how we're gonna play. He wants us to play this way. So obviously, we knew why he wanted to play. Like I said, he always has a purpose. So when we started, obviously I didn't understand the role that much. Sometimes I would do what he wants me to do. Sometimes, I'll forget. And he kept on reminding me and pushing me and motivating me to be able to be in that position because he knew what he wanted out of the team. So obviously when we started, we went through the sessions and everything, and it started coming alright. We started understanding one another, where to go. And obviously, like he said, there's gonna be mistakes, and obviously people are gonna criticize. And for me as a player, I don't think I focus too much on criticism because I think I've been playing in the PSL. I don't know for how long now. We knew this kind of things would happen, and people will come and say things. But if you dwell on them, then they're gonna impact you in the next game. So obviously, like he said, when we have bad moments, they always, he always calls us to his office. What do you think? How you feeling about the situation? And we always have that conversation, and it helps us to be able to put that behind us and focus on the next one, because it's not about me, it's about the team and how we can be able to win games and create chances and be able to win games. So
Brilliant. So with you to start wrapping up.
Coach, Wydad obviously the champions, but the media, their fans are saying that they're a terrible team, they have terrible players this season, their performances, but they're only 1 point from the title, and they're 1 game away from the final yet. What makes them so hard to beat, even though they criticized so highly based on the traditional standards?
I think the level of what they've achieved, and to still be subjected to the level of criticism, is the answer. Is that even when they do well, there's a demand, not just from themselves for sure, I think, but also from the supporters and the media. The good thing is I can't read Arabic, so most of it is in Arabic, so I can't read, so I don't know much of what is written, apart from some of the basic research information that we get from our people, from our analysts and so forth. I can only speak about what I see, and what I see is a team that's got very, very good players. I see a team that has a good identity and a structure. A team that's got the right type of profile. If you look, for an example, you have a Benayeda that can play, Abdul Fat that can play, a Zola that can play, and all three of those centre backs are top level, and maybe probably very similar, because all three give you the possibility of diagonal balls that can be played into any of the wingers that they can play. Bora has been very, very good for them, the number 30. He plays on the left, on the right, but extremely aggressive in 1v1s and can deliver crosses with left foot, right foot. Onajen is a typical winger that plays for North African sides, looks for isolations, looks to receive with an open body structure. And when he receives closer to your box, there's going to be possibilities of looking to simulate and try to get fouls, free kicks, penalties, corner kicks. And so that plays into their advantage. The profile of the striker, Sambu, is a striker that is probably against, and maybe the last time I said to the players, the last time we saw a type of striker like that in the PSL was Lumisani Ndlela, for an example, or Collins Mbesuma. Then these are the typical number 9s that use their bodies to be able to be reference points and allow the play to be established from them. So Sambu gives them that profile of being able to hold up the ball and allow the midfielders to get a little bit closer, and even though they can play a little bit higher and they prefer maybe to play a little bit deeper, but to use the striker to be able to get into possibilities where they can stretch the block and push it a little bit closer to your goal. They know that, and that's why 9 times out of 10 they play El Hassouni, because El Hassouni is very, very, very good in playing in front of the striker than playing behind the striker for flick-ons and second balls in that space. So El Hassouni plays as that 10 that links up the play. But of course, you need then a very strong midfield pivot. They've got Jabran, who's extremely intelligent in breaking up the play and trying to link the midfield and the defensive line. Charity, who played in the space of Dawoodi, and Dawoodi traveled with the team, but he's also got the same type of profile, box to box, number 8. Very good in winning second balls in the midfield and has that personality. And then as I spoke about earlier, the profile of the fullbacks, Al Amud can play in that space and delivers balls into the box. Etihad Allah can also play in that space and deliver balls into the box. So you ask me about the team, I can only speak about what I have seen and what I've watched, and I don't know, maybe 8 games now, 9 games. And if you include our match that we played against them, then it's quite a lot of hours that has gone into watching this opposition, watching what could change, what could be done. And my only perspective on this team cannot be influenced by what is written, what is said. It can only be based on what I see. And what I see is exactly what I've just given to you. And for sure, it is big respect and big appreciation for the type of team that Wydad are.
Let's go final question to you before we end.
Coach, I'll keep it slightly longer, but how much of a football gasm did you get from Man City, Real Madrid, and can your team replicate in an African context that kind of performances that City did to knock out the defending champions, which is the requirement of you guys this weekend?
Don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud. The Man City is just some, actually, let's not go there. Beautiful, unbelievable level of confidence.
Coach Mokwena, Aubrey, Coach, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Guys.